Well, ladies and gentlemen, we promised that we would have some phones for you today, but we don't. So it's conversational radio again today on the Mike Missanelli Show. William Colarulo is here. Raymond Dunn is here, and we will talk about some various topics. I wanted to start with an Eagle topic, and then I got a couple Sixers topics, and we didn't talk nearly enough about Hoosiers yesterday, Bill, as one of my favorite sports movies of all time. And I thought we would compile our own little list of sports movies today, somewhere along the line. Well, let's talk about the Eagles, because I'm on the record saying, hey, this rebuild is, first of all, they did hire a quarterback coach, the head coach of Bowling Green. They took Penn State to the wall this year, so there's that.
So you approve it?
Well, I don't know. But here's the Eagle thing. I'm reading a story about 5 teams that could be hit the hardest this offseason. And the number one team is the Eagles. And I look at it and I go, come on, man. They have enough of a core where they're not going to get hurt by a free agent leaving. Now, I know Zach Bond would be a killer. If they lost anybody else, I think really they could kind of replace anybody else. And we're talking about, Josh Sweat. We're talking about Mekhi Becton. Milton Williams is a good player, but you're not going to be able to afford him. Kenneth Gainwell, I don't think they'll lose him. Brandon Graham is no loss, and Avonte Maddox is no loss. So I don't really know what they're thinking about when they say this is the number one team that could be hit the hardest by free agency. Maybe we could explore that a little bit. Bond is a killer. Although they did draft a linebacker that they think can take the spot in Jeremiah Trotter Jr. So I get it that Bond is a really important free agent, and they shouldn't lose him, and I don't think they will lose him. But listen, Mekhi Becton, all right. They got a replacement. You're supposed to have replacements in the draft. If you believe in Howie Roseman and his judgment, then you believe in Tyler Steen could take that spot. Milton Williams, it would be a loss, but there's always another guy that comes along that can play like Milton Williams. Kenneth Gainwell, I think, will stay here, although I don't think he's that big of a loss if they lost him. And let's face it, BG and Avonte Maddox are not a big loss for this team. So, Bill, let's go to you first of all. Do you believe that this is the number one team that could be hit hardest by free agents, losing free agents?
I do think that this team could be one of the worst teams in terms of losing free agents. Now, it doesn't mean that they can't replace these guys. But if you do take a step back and look at it, they're in danger of losing how many of their starters on both sides of the football. So you figure just Mekhi Becton on offense. Right? So that's one.
Yeah.
Josh Sweat is a starter. Yeah. Milton Williams is essentially a starter. You got Zach Bond, another big-time starter. And then we don't know what they're going to do. It isn't necessarily a free agent, but with the way Darius Slay's contract is structured, do you move on from him? You could be talking about potentially 5 players that were big contributors on this team that wouldn't be here. You could go even farther than that. Even though Aaron Burks isn't a starter, he was a starter down the stretch of this season and in the playoffs because Nakobe Dean got hurt. We saw Isaiah Rodgers, who's also a free agent. He played some important snaps. So, you could be talking about 7 guys, and then you add in Brandon Graham.
If you didn't have replacements, I get it. But you're giving no solace to the draftees and wait. They loaded up on defensive backs to have depth there to replace Slay with, Keely Ringo is there waiting to play. And you talk about they drafted a linebacker. Finally, they drafted a linebacker fairly high who could play. And they drafted an offensive lineman. They always back up their offensive line with draftees. So on one hand, if you believe in Howie Roseman, you don't believe that they're going to be decimated by free agents that they lose. Now, Bond is different. That's a free agent you should keep. But Josh Sweat had a great year on a contract year. I don't know if Josh Sweat is enough to fret about.
Now, I would be okay with them letting Josh Sweat walk because I do think Josh Sweat is going to command a lot more money than I think he's worth. He had a great Super Bowl. Thank him for his service to the Philadelphia Eagles and helping deliver a Lombardi. But I don't think he's going to be worth what he's going to get paid. However, when you let him walk, you do have a severe lack of depth at your edge rushing positions because if Brandon Graham does in fact retire, you're going into this season with Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt, and Bryce Huff. So you're going to have to do something to replenish your edge rushers because you just don't have any depth at all. When you move inside, yeah, you have Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, but Milton Williams was one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL, in my opinion.
But then you got a Jomo who's there.
And can he step up and play meaningful snaps?
Well, could Milton Williams step up and play meaningful snaps? See, this is the thing is, if you're using your intelligence to draft guys that you know can step in, like Nolan Smith and Hunt were drafted so they could step in.
A little bit of a difference, though. Nolan Smith, first-round draft pick. Jalix Hunt, third-round draft pick. Milton Williams, third-round draft pick. Maro Ajomo was a seventh-round draft pick. I like the guy, but he was drafted as more of a project. We'll see if he's ready in year 3 to really step up and take that leap like Milton Williams gave you last year. You can say the same thing about the linebacker position. Like, I think they will sign Zach Baun again, but what do you have next to him? Because we don't know if Nakobe Dean's going to be healthy. If they don't re-sign Aaron Burks, is a fifth-round rookie Jeremiah Trotter ready to step up in his second season?
But you can always sign an Aaron Burks. There are Aaron Burkses throughout the league that you can sign.
You're right, and I agree that there are players available, and I do expect Howie Roseman to take advantage of like that second and third wave of free agents. But there's no guarantee that you hit. Like, because this year, yeah, they hit on the Aaron Burks of the world. They hit on some of their one-year deals. Mekhi Becton being one of them. You could go back 2 years ago, and that wasn't the case. They were scrambling at linebacker.
Yeah.
They didn't have answers at safety. They had to make a late trade for a Kevin Byard. So, like, yes, in Howie we trust, and the window is still wide open for this team, but they got to make the right decisions in free agency, and I don't think it's going to be as easy as maybe you think it will be.
All right. We're going to talk about that today. I also want to talk about this little dynamic that you were at the Sixers Gala last night.
Correct.
Or the Gallo, however you pronounce it.
Yeah, at the Bellevue. Very nice
event. Bellevue. It was like a big party. And so the players were there, and the players were having fun, dancing, and all kinds of stuff. And there's a lot of negative feedback on that in social media. It's like, oh, these guys have the right to have fun. And and I think about it, I go, the fans are entitled to think that way. They really are. Now, in reality, maybe it doesn't play out because, like you were talking about before the show, what did we expect them to do? Be in a dark room, not like in depression?
Yeah.
Like dealing with that? They're human beings after all. But the outward message of that never resonates with the fan base, nor should it. I got news for you. The fans shouldn't be mature enough to say, well, they're just guys having fun. They're human. After all, they're human beings. We don't think that way as a fan base, and fans don't think, and players don't think about how the fans think. There is a vast divide between fandom and playerdom on how people perceive situations.
You're right. There are few players over the course of history in the city of Philadelphia who did let, when the team struggled, really impact them. One of them was Brian Dawkins. I think that's why Dawkins resonated so well with this Philadelphia fan base. I was working down there at the time. I used to see Dawkins. He would be literally like crying in his locker when they would lose games.
Yeah.
Most of the other guys, it's, business as usual. No big deal. Where are we going to dinner?
Exactly.
That type of thing.
And that doesn't resonate with fans.
No, it does not.
Fans want to see players walk around with the hair shirt, lamenting. Now, this is an interesting dynamic, and I really want to talk about it when it comes to this particular thing. It's like the scene in Moneyball, where Billy Bean comes in, and they're dancing around. It's the end of the game, and so what? They got playing the music. Bang! With the bat on the music. What are you having fun for?
It's a great scene.
What are you having fun for? And so I would love to get some feedback from fans on this particular situation. The Sixers have disappointed you tremendously. They have blown up a season right in your face as a fan base. Are you supposed to look at them dancing and not react? We'll talk about it. 610-632-0975. It is the Mike Missanelli Show. I'm giving you that because you can text, not call today. Hopefully, somewhere along the line, we get telephones back. It's like the whole grid has been blown out down through the eastern seaboard. So it's going to be tough to get the phones back. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Hey, everybody, it's Bill Colarulo. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel so you can engage during the show, and you're not going to want to miss all the content that we post. It's not only the live videos. It's videos after the fact. It's our shorts. It's all the content you want as a Philadelphia sports fan. Looking forward to connecting.